Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of MedSynapse podcast series. I'm your host, Hetvi Shah, and today we have a very special guest joining us to discuss a vital topic that affects many women around the globe. We are delving into gaining insights on hormonal replacement therapy with the esteemed Dr. Priyadarshini Lingaraj. Dr. Priyadarshini is a multilingual and experienced specialist gynecologist with over a decade of experience. She is currently practicing at LLH hospitals in Abu Dhabi. She specializes in antenatal care, high-risk obstetrics, and a wide range of gynecological disorders. Doctor is also known for her holistic approach to women's health, ensuring physical, emotional, and social well-being of her patients. So welcome Dr. Priyadarshini, and we are so thrilled to have you today.
Hi Hetvi, thank you for hosting me today. It's always a pleasure to be with MedSynapse.
So before we dive into the specifics of hormonal replacement therapy, doctor, could you share a bit about your medical journey and what inspired you to specialize in women's health?
All right. So hello everybody, this is Dr. Priyadarshini. I'm a specialist obstetrician here in Abu Dhabi. I basically hail from the southern part of India, more specifically from Ooty, Tamil Nadu. And all my schoolings, it's been completely in the southern part of India, right from my medical college and my post-graduation. So my work experience again was in various parts of South India before I moved to the UAE 4 years back. Women's health has always been one of my concerns, and I really got inspired when I was at the age of 16 during my school days. So biology was something that really inspired me, and from there on started my medical career. Now once you enter into MBBS, there always comes a decision of what you want to do. And surgery was always something very, very inspiring for me. So when I wanted to choose a surgical field along with women's specialization, that's where I landed up with obstetrics and gynecology.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think your holistic approach is something we all should appreciate.
Thank you so much.
Now let's start with the basics. Can you explain the role of hormonal replacement therapy and what factors are most critical in determining the optimal HRT strategy for a patient?
All right. So this topic of hormone replacement therapy is something very close to my heart because we know every woman is going to undergo this menopause, and this menopause can be really, really troublesome for women. And nowadays we have come up with a lot of strategies to help women cope up with the menopause. So hormone replacement therapy is basically one of the key pillars for any woman who is undergoing this menopause, and also to help her in a very smooth transition. So basically menopause is something where the woman's hormone starts to decline. They come to a low minimum wherein she is losing all her femininity, which has been maintained because of these hormones. So now it's time for her to get these hormones externally in the form of hormone replacement therapy so that she is able to maintain the vital functions. Now, when we say menopause, we need to understand that it is not only the stop of periods, it is the overall changes the woman is experiencing. So the entire life of the woman, her entire lifestyle, her entire body status, her mental status, everything takes a toll when she's entering this menopause. So HRT plays a very, very vital role for this woman to cope up. Now, HRT, by the term HRT, it means hormone replacement therapy. So basically, there are two vital hormones for the women. One is called as estrogen, the other one is called as progesterone. So these are the two hormones which is going to help a woman maintain her femininity, maintain her menstrual cycle, and not to forget, even her heart health, her bone health, her mental health, all these have been very well kept under control. So when she is going into menopause, all of this can be affected. So when we are choosing the treatment option of hormone replacement therapy, we have to be very careful of whether she is an ideal candidate to be given the hormone replacement therapy. What is her basic health status like? Do a baseline evaluation and also discuss with her about all the options available. And once you start on into HRT, what are the things she is supposed to keep in mind? Everything has to be discussed, counseled, and only then started on hormone replacement therapy.
Yes, thank you for that detailed explanation. Now, can you explain the role of HRT and how they differ from traditional hormone therapies?
See, hormone replacement therapy is something that's been started right from the 1940s. So since then, there has been a lot of evaluation and evolution about hormone replacement therapy and how it has been affecting the women's health. So to start off with, they were just the basic hormones, and then later on they were added on by additional hormones. Then the newer generation, everything kept coming on. So this has been a completely evolutionary field. The latest addition to this family is the bioidentical hormones. To talk to you about the traditional hormones, we basically have two hormones, as I told, estrogen and progesterone, and we have various forms of it. So we use these formulations in different doses and in different routes. Like, say, for example, it does not only come in the form of tablets. We have rings, we have patches, we have creams. So there are many formulations and many types which can help a woman. So the traditional hormone replacement therapy, yes, we do have a lot of evidence, we do have a lot of support to the use of them. So if I have to prescribe that to a woman, I have a lot of current evidences before me which I can discuss with the women, so that we come to a combined and a mutual conclusion about which is going to be best suiting her.
Now, there are always patients who feel scared about these HRTs. So for those patients, what are the non-hormonal alternatives do you recommend? And how do these options compare in managing menopausal symptoms?
See, when we talk about menopause, you shouldn't consider it as a disease status where the doctor is just going to prescribe you a tablet and tells you, go take this tablet. It's not like that. Any woman who's undergoing menopause needs a holistic approach. She needs an overall approach for help to combat this transition. So it is just basically a transition from a perimenopausal to a menopausal status. And for that, just the HRT is not going to help her. So first we need to make the woman understand what she's going through, what are the side effects, and what is she supposed to expect. And the counseling and education doesn't stop just with the women. It also needs to include the family members and her very close people who are associated with her. Because these changes, as I said, can start right from cognitive impairment, where her mental status is affected. She can be anxious, she can be depressed, and all this needs to be addressed. She needs a lot of rest. And the other approaches that we actually talk about here are changing your lifestyle, changing your diet, getting into more calming effects like yoga and meditation are also included in this. And for few women who already have a lot of mental disturbance in the form of anxiety or depression, we also talk to them about something called like CBT, which is a cognitive behavioral therapy. So we give them slowly, one by one, we talk to them about this, make them slowly understand of what's happening. Now, once all this is done, we talk to them about the side effects of menopause. So we counsel them to do the adequate amount of blood tests, adequate amount of investigations, so that we're very sure that she's having a healthy start before we could go on with the HRT. Now, once all this is taken care, then comes the role of hormone replacement therapy. Now, again, if you take hormone replacement therapy, as I told, there are various formulations, and not every woman needs everything of that. So we do it custom made or tailor specific for the women's particular needs, and only then we start on with the hormone replacement therapy. Now, coming to non-hormonal or any other medications or products which can help her, yes, there are some diets, there are some herbal medications. These can definitely help them combat the side effects of menopause.
Can you discuss the considerations and guidelines for HRT use in this population?
Sure, definitely. Now, there was a big trial that came some years back, which is called as the Women Health Initiative. So that trial gave a lot of contradictory results, and one among them was the use of HRT in breast cancer survivors, and also in women who's got a current history of breast cancer. What happens is, again, breast cancer is one of the diseases which is associated with the hormones. Okay? So if I'm already affected with that, if I take a hormone replacement therapy, what's going to happen with me? That comes as a big question to all these women. The second question that we often face is, now, if I take HRT, am I going to develop a breast cancer? These are the two concerns that usually women come to us with. A thing is, hormone replacement therapy per se is not going to increase your chances of breast cancer. We need to understand, as women, we are already at a higher risk compared to the males to develop breast cancer. Though breast cancer can also occur in males too. So, giving the background risk of developing a breast cancer, and also if you have a very close family member affected with a breast cancer, or if you have a genetic mutations which is going to make you at a high risk of developing breast cancer, then use of this hormone replacement therapy is not going to increase your chances of developing a breast cancer. So you need not worry about it. Now, whether you're going to take a hormone replacement therapy or no, you need to continue with your surveillance for breast cancer, which includes a self-breast examination and an annual ultrasound and mammogram when required. So you need to continue that irrespective of use of your hormone replacement therapy. Now, if you are a person who already been diagnosed with a breast cancer and have been treated, and now you're thinking of using it, your doctor needs to review all your notes. And they have to look at the kind of breast cancer you have had previously, and also what is your current status. And only depending on that, your HRT will be decided for you. Again, it's going to be tailor-made for you. The dose, the route, and the duration, all that will be customized as per the patient.
Okay, understood. So personalization care seems crucial here. And thank you for busting those myths and telling us what is actually important. Now, how does HRT differ for younger women experiencing premature menopause compared to those undergoing natural menopause, and what special considerations are there?
All right, so that's a very nice question. Because premature menopause, now any woman who's going to attain this menopause before the age of 40 is considered as premature menopause. The natural age of menopause is somewhere around 51 years on an average globally. So 40 years is way too early compared to that. And trust me, we have seen patients as young as 20, 25 who have attained menopause. And there are multiple reasons for that. You just cannot blame the lifestyle and the environment. Apart from that, there are many people who might need a radiation or a chemotherapy in a younger age. Those who have some genetic disorders which is making them lose their ovary function. So these subset of women, when they have menopause at a very young age, we need to understand, first thing, they're psychologically completely affected because of this. Second thing, now as I said, the glow that you have is basically because of the hormones. When the hormones are depleted, you do not have the glow. And most importantly, your internal health, your cardiac health, your bone health is completely affected. So there is thinning of bones that takes place, which is called as osteoporosis. Now all this needs to be addressed. And not to forget, the most important role or the most crucial role for a woman in the younger age is reproduction. It's to have a baby, it's to have a family. All that will be affected for a woman who's undergoing this premature menopause. So all these factors will be considered for her. Now, per se, to talking about hormone replacement therapy, now we need to understand that hormone replacement therapy is not going to give you periods. Okay, you're not going to get your menstruation. However, it is going to manage the effects or the good effects of the hormones in your body. So these women definitely need to be started on hormone replacement therapy at a younger age itself. And this has to be continued till they go on for the natural age of menopause, that is at least till 51 years of age. This is what is advised. So starting at a younger age is going to help them maintain their cardiac health, their heart health, as well as their bone health, as well as their mental status. And vaginal dryness and the symptoms in and around your private parts are also very, very crucial. Though we do not speak about it, many women experience vaginal dryness, vaginal infection, and they have a lot of issues with their partner also when they are experiencing this premature menopause. All this can be taken into consideration, and they are treatable, they are curable, and they can be kept under control when the appropriate treatment has been started. And for women who are undergoing premature menopause, always one special addition or one special extra point we talk to them about is their fertility options, which again we know in this era there are a lot many options to help the couple.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. This information is actually very helpful for people who are actually very skeptical about how to go ahead with hormonal replacement therapy. Now, lastly, if you could tell us what strategies do you ensure to ensure patient education and compliance with HRT, and how do you address common misconceptions and fears about HRT?
All right. Now, I always feel that for having a very good rapport with your patient, communication is the key. So, you need to communicate very clearly with someone who is seeking in for a medical guidance. If you can address all their concerns, then that solves 90% of all the problems. So, first is taking a very thorough history as to understand what the person is and to see what their current problems are related to menopause, and also what is the current knowledge about menopause. So, when we try to understand the knowledge, when we try to probe in the questions, then we get the basic idea about the person, because many of them are already pre-filled with the ideas what Google has told them. So we do play an important role as to break all the myths. So once that part of history taking is done and the examination of the patient is done, we talk to them about the pros and cons of menopause. And also, I have a checklist where the patient is going to tell me yes, no for all the questions I ask them about menopause. Now, once we finish the checklist, we have a detailed discussion about the type of hormone replacement therapy that's going to suit the patient, and what is the dose going to be like, what is their follow-up is going to be like, and what are the side effects or what are the symptoms they can experience after starting the hormone replacement therapy. Now, if I have to tell all of this in 10-15 minutes and send them away, they definitely are going to have a lot more questions, which many people are reluctant to ask directly to the doctors, or they can get a question later on at home too. So generally what I tend to do is I give them the basic blood test in the first consultation, and I give them a week's time to think about this topic and get back to me with all their doubts and queries before I start on with the treatment. Not to forget, I also provide them with something called as patient information leaflet, where they have a detailed idea of what is menopause, what's happening, and all this information is given to them in the printable form. So they read that and again they come back with the queries. And also I make sure that at least one family member is getting involved in this, so that they have a better discussion at home also, and their environment is preserved at home also to help them undergo this transition. So once they're very clear of what they are doing and what treatment is going to be started for them, then we start the treatment. And we do have phone calls at regular intervals to address their queries and concerns. And also there are WhatsApp channels where they message in directly their queries, which can be answerable through phone calls. So we at least give them a call back to ask how they're feeling. So once everything is settled, say for 3 months or 6 months, the women is okay, we also motivate the women to encourage other women to come into this program. Because one sad truth is that many women are hesitant to come out to ask for help, to ask about menopause. So right now what we have done is we've started encouraging other women also to educate people about menopause, to tell them there are various treatment options available, so that as the whole community of womenhood will be getting more benefits of HRT.
Yes, those strategies are very commendable, and rightly said that open communication truly makes a difference.
All right.
So as we conclude today's session, thank you so much, Dr. Priyadarshini, for sharing your valuable insights with us today. This has been an incredibly informative session.
Thank you, Hetri, and thank you, MedSynapse, for this wonderful opportunity. Always looking forward to be with you guys.
Thank you so much, and we also appreciate you taking your time to share your knowledge with us.
Thank you so much.
And also thank you to our listeners for tuning in. And remember, if you are a healthcare professional who is eager to delve deeper into medical topics or have questions, don't hesitate to join us on MedSynapse platform. MedSynapse platform is not just a resource. It's a dynamic space where you can connect with your medical peers, participate in meaningful discussions, and contribute to the ongoing evolution of healthcare. And until next time, stay healthy and take care.